What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and I want to talk about this conversation where Ryan Clark caught some backlash on the internet about who's a generational quarterback, and some of the names that he said wasn't included Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, and people were pushing back on him, especially when they were talking about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You look at their accomplishments and some of the things they were able to do, and you look at Peyton Manning's arm, just from back in the day, it's like, how could you say that's not a generational talent? Now, Ryan Clark was looking at escapability out the pocket and things like that. That a lot of these quarterbacks have now. But I remember back in the day, they used to treat that like it was taboo. They used to treat it as a running back playing quarterback. But now you look at the game, it's almost prerequisite that you kind of look for in a quarterback because of the evolution of the game and the way that it's played. But let's get into what Ryan Clark had to say. Let's peep.
Few of them. I don't think there's. I think there's less than what you think. I think John Elway was a generational talent. I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. I don't think Tom Brady, I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents. I think Andrew Luck ended up being a generational talent. I don't think there's a ton of them out there.
First off, I think the generational talent conversation is a fun one, right? It's a fun one to have. And when you mention Manning, Brady, and Brees, if any of those three is going to be a generational talent, to me, it's Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning was the number one quarterback when he came out of high school. He was the surefire number one overall pick. He had a level of arm talent and understanding, anticipation based on the generation he was in, the era he was in that made him special. Hard work made Tom Brady special. A will to win, dedication. He changed who he was. When you go 199th overall, the talent piece of your generational talent piece is missing. But he's the greatest of all time. Drew Brees built himself into one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. They've had generational careers, both individually and team success. But they are not generational talents to me in that. Right? When you look at Brett Favre, 3 straight MVPs, the way he could throw a football, the physicality in which he played with. You even take a guy like John Elway, who was able to say, if I got to go to Baltimore, I'm going to go play baseball. Right? That level of physical talent, the way he moved in the pocket, the way he threw the football, like those things make them different. And I think you even move forward, you go into other sports. Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. I think he had a generational career. I think his impact to the game, the way he worked, the focus he played with. He's not a generational talent because LeBron James is a generational talent. Like the chosen on his back wasn't because he wasn't God gifted. It was because he was. And I think that is what I was trying to explain to people. Randy Moss, good in any era. Adrian Peterson, good in any era. Junior Seau, good in any era. It's players like that that say, hey, these are generational talents. And I'm going to say this. He didn't get to live long enough. Sean Taylor was different than we'd ever seen. There are tall people that want to play safety now because of that man. That's a generational talent, right? And Brian Dawkins, who is my personal own favorite safety, he's not. I used to watch him because I was like, man, some of this I might be able to do. Sean could do things I could not. And so when we say generational talent, it's a person or an athlete that has some things that can't be taught, that can absolutely change the game. And I'm going to say this, of my time, if we're talking about quarterbacks I played, the greatest talent, who I consider a generational talent, is Aaron Rodgers. Because when we played that Super Bowl, we were right so many times, and it didn't matter because of his talent level, not his IQ, not his anticipation, not his studying. How talented he was.
Now, this is an interesting topic to me. Where is the lines for generational talent and generational career? Where do they intersect? What parts of them are separate? Because we've seen people, extreme arm talent, extreme ability to run the football, but just they may be more athletes and they may be more combine players than in between the line players, but it seems like they have generational talent, right? Um, and we also seen people who can't jump over a sheet of paper go out there and have legendary careers. I guess, when you look at Tom Brady, I know what he's trying to say, as far as not having a generational talent. Do you measure things like winning or are those things more hindsight? You see it as it happens, but when you're looking at a generational talent, Ryan Clark is probably saying if we line them up fresh out of college, or just seeing them at the collegiate level, at a high level playing, do we see them as that guy for a franchise? Do we see them as a person who can fit on any team? A lot of people who have success land in a perfect system, and a lot of times, you talk about a generational career, we're looking at everything around them that goes into the front office, that goes into personnel, how well they are blocked for, even goes into the training room, and how well their medical staff handles their recovery. And so I uh, recognize that. But when you think about generational talents, for me, I would definitely say Peyton Manning would have had to be. Like Ryan Clark said, like I feel like he was a generational talent. You look at Drew Brees, obviously his size is gonna say he's not. I have no problem with that one. Tom Brady, the hindsight of what he's done, um, makes it tough for people to feel like he's not, especially when he went to Tampa Bay and won, because then he becomes a quarterback that fits all systems. Can he run the fastest? No. Is he the most athletic? But do you expect to win no matter what quote unquote generational talent is on a good team across from him in the Super Bowl? Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, so look at this. Like, I'll say this. Him beating Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl, like that adds to it as well. On the end of his career, it's like, okay, yeah, but we know Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent, and Brady's squad gets it done, against him at the highest level in dominant fashion. So I don't know. I don't know. I want some football people to come in and tell me, some well versed football people that study the game. I want y'all to tell me and list in the comment section, if you don't mind, who are your generational talents at the QB position? Because I think we need some clarity. And also, if you don't mind and if you have time, list me the attributes that make you a generational quarterback prospect. All of the attributes, because I know we had a combine and different things like that, but give me some nuanced things that you may look at, because I know Ryan was talking about uh, attributes that others don't have, but yeah, I just want a more clear definition on it. But I mean, I do see what he's saying, but I just want some other perspectives on it. Let me know, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.